I speak Russian language. Da. So da is yes in Russian. Нет is no. Da я говорю по-русски. That's I speak Russian language. Hi everyone. My name is Dr. Ennis Oloronipa, a medical doctor and a communication expert. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you something very important. 8 things you need to know about studying in Ukraine. So I got my medical education from Ukraine, and I've lived in Ukraine for over 10 years. So if there's someone who can tell you about Ukraine, I am definitely one. So the thing about moving to a new country, you have concerns, you have several questions to ask about adapting in the country. So most times you require a credible source, someone to give you good information. And I can guarantee you that in this video, you will get good, accurate, helpful information if you're planning to study in Ukraine, or your child is, or someone you know is planning to study in Ukraine. The first thing you should know about studying in Ukraine is most Ukrainian universities work with agents. That means an intermediary between the university and the student, usually for the first year. That means getting your invitation, the university may not send directly to you, you might have to get a representative. So don't be scared if someone tells you that you need to work with agents, because most of the universities actually go by that rule. But one of the reasons I had to make this video actually was to clear this part, because you could fall into the hands of the wrong agent or agency, meaning you're losing a lot of money. Besides that, you might not get the admission that you wanted. There could be deception along the way. So I had to make this video. One of the reasons was to recommend to you credible agencies that I've known over the years. So I would put some of their contact information in the link, so that if you're planning to relocate to Ukraine to study, you can consider any of them. So you could speak with them, and then anyone you're comfortable with, you could work with them. All right? Okay. And by the way, they should know that you are contacting them from Dr. Ennis. You saw a video from me. They should know that there's an expectation. So because I'm recommending them, so they should know that there is an expectation. Okay. So the second thing about studying in Ukraine, which I think you would like to know immediately, is the tuition. So tuition is relatively affordable compared to other European countries or even America. So if you can, let me put it this way, if you can afford a private university in Nigeria, you would be able to afford studying in Ukraine. So that's a good way to just put it. The fees, they range, depending on different institutions, even though not so far apart. But really, I would leave that. I won't give you figures. You could confirm that with, when you have, because that figure would, many things would be required to give it an exact figure. The cost of study, the university, the city, there are many factors involved. So that might need to be answered by the agent. Okay. The third thing about living in Ukraine is, they need to know, is the cost of living. So you're wondering, okay, so if I get in, what is the cost of living like? What's accommodation like? Feeding, transportation. So it's fair, really. It's fair. Accommodation is fair compared to other European countries. You can get a good accommodation for a good price. Now, what is a good price, really? It depends on, of course, what your budget is. You can get a good accommodation for a good price. Now, in probably other parts of the world, or in some parts of the world, you get to pay accommodation on a yearly basis. In Ukraine, most of the landlords ask you to pay on a monthly basis. Of course, at the first month, you get to pay for 2 months, the first month and the last month, and of course the agency fee. But subsequently, you get to pay monthly. And again, you get to pay for bills, that's electricity bills, heater, and some other bills. Usually gets more expensive in winter because you get to use the heater more. Okay, so the cost of living, so transport is very good. There are several means of transportation. It's not a problem. You go by the underground train, by tram, car, that's like a taxi. There are several means. Train, have effective trains, the speed train, the normal train. So transport is not a problem. You can get affordable transportation, very affordable and also convenient. So don't worry about that. Okay, then of course cost of feeding, okay, again, is fair. With the little amount you can get what to eat and you eat well. The stores are open, they are relatively cheap, again, compared to other European countries. So cost of living is fair and affordable. I would say if you can afford to study in Ukraine, cost of living should be affordable as well. Okay, the next one is, I'm bringing this one forward because of the 5th point, which is language. So you get to learn a new language, or probably languages. So I studied my first 4 years in the medical university was in Lugansk. So Lugansk is the name of a city in eastern Ukraine. So even though they now say they are a republic, so I was there for 4 years until the war in 2014. So maybe I'll give you that gist another day, but I experienced war in Ukraine. I was right at the heat of it. Some interesting things to tell you, but not for this video. So when the war broke out in 2014, many of us had to leave Ukraine and leave Lugansk, the city, to other cities that were safer. And then I moved from Lugansk to Dnipro, which was where I completed, the full name is Dnipropetrovsk. So Dnipro, where I completed my medical university. So I did 2 years there. So I been in the eastern part of Ukraine. It's a Russian speaking part. They tend to speak Russian more because they are closer to Russia. So I got to learn Russian language. Yes, so I speak Russian language. Da. So da is yes in Russian. Нет is no. Da я говорю по-русски. That's I speak Russian language. Let me give you one more. So меня зовут Enis. That's my name is Enis. All right. Okay, so those who studied in the western part of Ukraine, like Lviv, Ternopil, Ivano-Frankivsk, they speak Ukrainian because the dominant language there is Ukrainian. They are very similar but still different. But now most universities tend to teach Ukrainian more than Russian. But you still get to hear Russian language on the streets, in the shops. So if you are in the eastern part especially, okay, or central, but if you're in the western part, Ukrainian language. But whichever one, you get to learn a new language, and I think it's an advantage. Now, I said that because of the next point, which I know you might be interested in, which is work. Can you study and work in Ukraine? So the answer is yes. It used to be capital no when we started many years ago. There were no opportunities for foreigners to work. But over the years, things have changed. Even in recent years, it's really improved. And now you can get some online jobs, remote work, that's working from home. I know people who are working with American companies in Ukraine online. You could get a teaching job. So you get to teach English language. So you have many schools, many groups that require English language. So you could be employed as an English teacher. on-site, online. There are those options are there, and some other companies that you could actually work with. The only thing you need to do is to find out a legitimate one, and of course you could be in. How much do you earn as salary? It varies, really varies. So, but yeah, now it's feasible to work and study. Yeah, and you don't need any special permit to do that. Of course, if you want to get a work visa, that's a different thing entirely. That means you're done with your studying. Okay, I'm saying while studying, being a student, you can work without needing any extra document. Yeah, there are those opportunities now. So that's a plus. Now let's go to the education itself, the quality of education. Is it good? Is it bad? No, it is not bad. It is good. May not be Harvard standard, but it is good. Now, one thing you need to know is when you get into higher institution, really, in any country, you should take responsibility. That means you should be more responsible for your education. That means studying, getting information, research. You're in higher institution, not secondary school, not high school. So if you come in with the mindset of I should be taught everything, yeah, you might say, oh, it's not good enough. But if you come in with the right mindset, you get just what you need. There are many people who finished from Ukraine, who are graduates of Ukrainian universities, who are doing well around the world in their different professions. And they're in different countries, from America to Canada, United Kingdom, different countries. So the quality of education is not bad. It is good, actually. It is good if you are studious. You see, if you're going to put in your own effort. But if you just sit down and wait for someone to tell you everything, you might think it's not good enough. So I'm sharing with you my experience. You see, my experience. And of course, again, it depends on the institution. There are those institutions where they are very strict. They put their foot down. Say you have to study. You know, if you miss any class, you have to rework the class. And there are some that are more relaxed, meaning they don't really push you to study. So, but generally, I can say it's good. And if you want to study, but again, like I said again, it's high institution. You should not be in the university and comparing yourself with just those around you. You should know that there are those who are probably getting better facilities, okay, like top facilities. So you should know you're competing with the world. Thank God for the internet. Go out of your way, make research. So yeah, so I'll say it's good because you have a role to play as well. The teachers, you can learn in English medium if you choose. You can learn in Russian or Ukrainian medium. There are those universities that have those options. But if you want to learn in the Russian medium or Ukrainian medium, usually you have to learn the language, take the language course. I mean, even after the language course, it's still a little challenging for some people because, you know, lots of technical terms. But generally, if you want to study in the English medium, you're good. Now, the teachers don't speak American English because they are mostly Ukrainians and their native language is not the English language. So don't expect them to speak British. So you might hear some mistakes here and there, and of course with the accent, with the Ukrainian or Russian accent, but it's clear enough for you to understand, and you can study your first degree, can be there, bachelor's degree, master's, PhD. Yeah, so depending on the course, engineering, medicine, art, computer science, nursing, yeah, there are different courses. So again, the agents would probably give you more information about the different schools and the options available to you. All right. The next thing, which is very important, that's number 7 now, I believe, is lifestyle. What is the lifestyle like in Ukraine? So it can be either way. Okay, so you choose. Okay, you're an adult, so you choose which way you want to go, but you can actually have a great life in Ukraine. You have, I would say, lots of time at your disposal. I mean, after school, I mean, of course, if you're working, it's a different thing entirely. But what I'm trying to say is you can really maximize being in Ukraine. I would recommend that when you get into Ukraine, identify a church, get committed. I'll recommend Christ Embassy, because that is my church. Christ Embassy literally shaped me into who I am today. So I recommend a Christ Embassy church. Get committed, get involved. It would really help you a great deal, So you can really become an amazing person, just build and shaping your lifestyle for the future while you're studying. Because what Christ Embassy does for you is it helps you to develop your mind, your spirit, your mind beyond just your environment. And that's important. That's very important. Of course, there are those who also, get distracted and doing all the wrong things. But I'm saying that, I remember when I was going to Ukraine many years ago, one agent told me, he said, when you get to Ukraine, you will do either of these three, or probably all. Either you smoke, you drink, or you womanize. So, and I remember asking him, is there at least one person who has not done any of this? And I said, if there's at least been one person, I'll be the second. Or if there's been no one, I'll be the first. But it's not that bad. No, actually, there are lots of people who are doing the right thing. So you can copy the right examples for yourself. That's very important. Okay, then the final one is the processing. What's the process like? I can't give you all the details in this video, but you don't need to write any exam to get the admission. Once you have your WAEC, you passed your WAEC. That's West African Examination Council. You can actually apply for any university. Now, some universities have their different rules. Some don't take a particular age. It's not very common, but I know one particular university doesn't take students beyond a particular age for first degree. But generally, with your WAEC result, you're good to go. So I think I tried to cover lots of things in this video. So again, remember what I said at the beginning of the video, that right below this video you'll find some contact of some credible agents that I'm recommending, and it's because I know them. So tell them you're from Dr. Ennis, and they should know that there's an expectation. So if anything happens outside the contract, I should be able to intervene, because I know these people personally, and I know they would be good to you and help you settle in well in Ukraine. So let me know if you have any questions in the comment below. I hope I was able to help you. So thank you for watching, and God bless you. Bye bye.